This is going to be a little bit different of a video. It's not going to be a gaming video, but this is basically kind of a thing to look forward to 2024. This is not video games, though. I don't really know a whole lot of video games coming out this year. This is going to be for films. I might do a video for games. These are basically going to be the films I'm looking forward to this year. It's really, I was gonna do like a tier list, but I'm mainly just gonna look up on a website and like basically look at all the movies that people think are anticipated, and I'll basically choose those movies and say which ones I'm looking forward to the most. I don't know if I'll like have it as a ranking system or anything like that, because that's what I meant by tier list. I would have had to make my own tier list on that. I figured it'd just be easier to look this up. I also might go ahead and do my favorites for 2023, which already passed by. I don't know. I might like make this a tradition that I do. Um, but basically, I'm going to look at all the 2024 films. Believe it or not, I don't think there's a whole lot of films that I actually might watch this year that I'm like really looking forward to. Because like really, they made it seem like 2025 when this year just started. I mean, it's January 19th as of right now, making this video. But like in 2025, there's so many crazy movies, like so many big blockbuster movies that are coming out that I don't even know why they announced them now because like gotta wait a whole nother year for them. But unfortunately, there are some good movies here, and of course I will be showing them that I'm anticipated for and waiting for. Hopefully they'll be good and not be disappointing. So January, I don't think there's a whole lot of stuff. We got the Book of Clarence. I don't know what that is. We get the Mean Girls, the musical. I didn't even realize that's what it was called. That's a remake. Not a whole lot of films January that I'm looking forward to. Madam Web. Um, Sorry, I was looking at something on my phone. February is the first of these that I might watch. This is part of the SSU. This is the first comic book movie. We're not going to be getting a whole lot of comic books movies for people that don't know. MCU is taking a break this year. They're not coming out with a whole lot of content. We thought that they were. We thought that we were getting Deadpool, Thunderbolts, and Captain America. But instead, we're only getting one of those, which I will talk about later. But we are getting a bunch of movies in the SSU. This is the first one. And also, DC, we're not going to get a whole lot of films again on here because DCEU is officially over after the Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. They ended up releasing the last few films, obviously, last year. Basically, so they could wrap it up, and that's kind of why some of the films were kind of bad because James Gunn just wanted to basically get them all out so then he could start his DCU, which again is also going to start in 2025. But yeah, anyways, Madam Web, I don't really know. They've got some interesting posters that I've seen that people have just been completely hating on. It's got quite the cast. Dakota Johnson, I forget the other people's names. Isabella Merced, I think, and then there's someone else, Sydney Sweeney, I think. But it's got quite the cast. Female Spider-Man, or Spider-Woman, sorry. Um, Obviously, pretty found with the comics. One of the main Spider-Man out there. I don't know. It's the first one that we've actually got in the SSU that's going to be Spider-Man related, not like a villain. So, I don't know. I feel like it could be decent, or it could just be like another meme movie like Morbius was a couple years ago. I don't know. Bob Marley, I actually was kind of interested in this too. This is also on Valentine's Day, so I guess it's up to you guys which one you'd watch that day. I don't really know much about Bob Marley, but biopics, they're pretty good films. I like those types. Bohemian Rhapsody is one of my favorite ones out there. So, I mean, this one should be pretty interesting. I don't know. They look like they picked a pretty good actor to play him. I mean, he kind of looks the part, so I mean, I'm kind of interested to see what that one is. I just saw a trailer for it not that long ago, but for people that know Bob Marley, you'd probably enjoy that movie. Drive Away. Now, this film is the main film that the first film I'm looking forward to the most out of this year. Dune Part 2. This is the only major film that was supposed to release last year that did not release. It was supposed to release in like November, but because of the writer's strike, they ended up moving it, and then they never had a chance to put it back once the writer's strike was over. Because I think it ended before November, but they didn't have a chance to because they'd already had other movies scheduled differently. But it is coming out March 1st. This is going to be a pretty crazy movie for people that have not seen Dune Part 1. I highly recommend it. Got insane amount of cast members. I mean, it looks honestly amazing. This film's going to be even bigger than this, though, which is honestly crazy. Because Dune Part 1 was awesome. For people that don't know, it's basically an old book series. It used to be an older movie back in the 80s, and now they're finally remaking it into several parts, maybe even a third part. I don't know if it's the last part or not, but Paul Atreides, which is played by Timothy Chalamet, is going to be joining forces with the, I forget what they're called, the Fremen? Yeah, the Fremen, right here. Which Zendaya is one of the Fremen, which we're going to see more of them together, because she wasn't even really in it until the end. Zendaya, Channing. We're going to be seeing more of her. So, I'm pretty excited for it. That is definitely up there for my most anticipated. Spaceman. I have not heard about this. This is a Netflix original. That's another reason why I wanted to look this up, because I was curious if I'd find something else that I didn't know about. Netflix original with Adam Sandler, an astronaut on a mission to the outer reaches of the solar system, who strikes up an unexpected friendship with a creature who is stowed away on a spaceship as he worries over his relationship with his wife back home. So I don't know. Adam Sandler movies most of the time are comedies. I feel like this is probably what this is. Maybe. I don't know. His films are either hit or miss. I might have to look in on that later. Millie Bobby Brown, another Netflix original. Which, Netflix, speaking of which, there's going to be another pretty big film that I'm kind of looking forward to, that I know some people are hating on. Challengers? It's got Zendaya. I'm not sure what that is. The Fall Guy. Now, I did not actually see a trailer for this until December when I was watching Aquaman. I didn't even know this film existed. It's from the director of Bullet Train, which kind of interested me, because I actually really enjoyed that film. It was way more violent than I ever would have thought it would have been. But it was awesome. I loved it. Brad Pitt and all that. I recommend it. Yeah, you got Ryan Gosling, Emily Blunt. I haven't seen too many films of Ryan Gosling, believe it or not. But, I mean, for the ones I've seen, I've enjoyed them. But it's based off of a TV series, I guess, of the same name. I did hear about that. So basically, he's a stuntman, and he's reunited with an ex, I guess, which is Emily Blunt, which he's hired for a job on a movie that she is directing. But I guess after the star of Jody's film goes missing, he must find a missing actor to finish the film. So it basically is they're filming for a movie, but then he actually has to act like an actual stuntman or whatever. So kind of interesting. I'm sure it'll be. I don't know. From what I saw in the trailer, it looked pretty interesting. I might end up checking it out. It's kind of new on my list, but May 3rd. So obviously a while. It's only January. That's why I'm doing this video though, for people that are interested in stuff coming out this year. We might even get new stuff later on that we don't know about. If I did see something for that too. That was kind of interesting. I thought Ryan Reynolds with a live action bear, and it's his imaginary bear, her imaginary friend, and basically it was directed by John Krasinski. Apparently, I heard about that. I don't know much about it though, but I'm sure if Ryan Reynolds would be kind of interesting. You got Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. So for people that are Mad Max fans, quite a while ago, I think in 2014, so 10 years ago now, Tom Hardy was in a film with Mad Max. I think it's a reboot. I have never seen Mad Max, so don't hate me for people that have watched it. It's supposed to have Anna Taylor-Joy and Chris Hemsworth. I saw a trailer for it again, I think a month ago. All these movies I kind of seen trailers for the first time. It's supposed to be a prequel, basically, to Mad Max. I'm guessing she was in the original movie. She's just younger. So it's a different actress. I don't know. I don't know much about it. Sorry. But if you're a Mad Max fan, you can check it out. Garfield. I think this is the first animated film. We got Chris Pratt now voicing Garfield. We just had in April Super Mario Bros. I believe was when that came out. April of 2023. We had Chris Pratt voice Mario. He's been getting a lot of big time characters as voice animation. Chris Pratt's an awesome guy. We also got Samuel Jackson in this. But yeah, it's been a while since we've had a Garfield film. We had a live action one with the animated cat. That's kind of the one that was the last big Garfield movie a long time ago. I don't know if people saw where Bill Murray actually voiced Garfield. They made a little joke about it. I remember the end of Zombieland 2 with Bill Murray. It was pretty funny. But anyways, yeah, I don't know. I might end up watching it because usually with Chris Pratt's animation or voice acting and all that, I enjoy. So I don't know. Some of these animated movies I actually liked. I'm kind of glad I checked out Super Mario Bros., but it's also Super Mario Bros. So we got Inside Out 2, one of the only Pixar films I think that is coming out this year. I don't know if I'd end up watching that. I know Pixar's kind of for kids and sometimes for family. I feel like Pixar in a way is for family. It's not just for kids. I don't know if I'd end up watching that or not. Horizon. This is with Kevin Costner. Part 1. I thought I've heard about this. I don't really know much about that though. Maybe I'll learn more about it eventually. We don't have pictures for these yet, or trailers, I guess. On June 20th as well, A Quiet Place, Day 1. It is a spin-off prequel, which is, I think, that's kind of interesting. So if people don't know what Quiet Place is, it's kind of an intense film to watch. You basically, monsters end up coming onto Earth, and they have an extremely sensitive hearing. They're blind, but they basically try to kill all these humans. So you basically got to be as quiet as you can, and like focuses in on this family that's just like trying to kind of live their life out in like the country and basically just avoid these monsters, and they can't talk. I mean, it's kind of crazy, but it's also directed by John Krasinski, and he stars in it with Emily Blunt, and then they have kids in it too. So there's 2 parts. For whatever reason, I don't really know if I'd watch this because I mean, it's not even the same people, and it's a spin-off, but it's a prequel. So I don't really understand that. It's directed by someone completely different. I mean, I'm sure it's got the same tone to it. I don't know. I'm gonna have to check that out once there's an actual trailer. So I can't really say much now. Despicable Me 4, July 3rd. I don't know why there's a Kung Fu Panda 4 also coming out in March, with Jack Black returning obviously, and lots of other villains. I don't know why that did not appear. Despicable Me 4 appeared because I think that was coming out in March. Because Illumination and DreamWorks are kind of similar with their animation. I don't know why that's not on there. I don't know if Garfield's an Illumination film, by the way. I think that's just it kind of looks like it. I think this is the only Illumination. July 3rd, though, Steve Carell is going to return. We obviously had a Minions film in 2022 where we had the big trend of wearing suits, but we are finally getting a new Despicable Me film. It's not going to be a prequel film, which, it should be interesting. We don't really know much about it yet. I'm sure eventually we will. Probably Dr. Nefario is going to be in it, and then Lucy, and then obviously his 3 daughters, adopted daughters. So, could be interesting. And then we have another crazy film. Speaking of MCU films, Deadpool 3. The only one coming out. It is coming out on July 26th. This is the only film it's always actually been in 2024. I think they just moved it all over the place throughout the whole year. I'm super excited for it though. Unfortunately, I gotta wait a little longer. But this is gonna be a crazy film. This might be as crazy as Spider-Man No Way Home. It's literally the 3rd Deadpool film. I mean, they're literally related to the X-Men like Fox films, but for whatever reason, it is actually part of the MCU, which I don't really understand how that works. We know that Hugh Jackman is finally going to appear as Wolverine. He's going to return as Wolverine, which is honestly awesome. We have not seen him as Wolverine since Logan, when obviously he ended up dying, spoiler alert. It's the last time we've seen him. It's been quite some time, but he's actually going to return. And possibly some other type of MCU characters, or like older Marvel Legacy characters. So, whatever is going to happen, Deadpool's going to somehow explore the multiverse. Maybe because he has that watch. I don't know if they were kind of teasing that in Deadpool 2. I might need to be on to something. I don't know. There's going to be all over the place. We've seen pictures of them filming with him in like the classic Wolverine suit and him in this really awesome looking red Deadpool suit. I'm sure we'll have the other cast members like Dopender and all that. It is going to be the first film in the MCU going to be rated R. So fortunately, for people that are younger, I mean, you're going to have obviously have a parent if they will let you. You're going to have some pretty awesome parents. I mean, it's Deadpool. Come on, the Merc with the Mouth. You got to watch it. It's going to be awesome. Fortunately, we got to wait a little bit longer. Hopefully, very soon we will be getting a trailer. Maybe in less than a month. I heard something about maybe the Super Bowl. I mean, playoffs are happening right now. It's going to be pretty soon. If that is true, that could be honestly a couple of weeks from now until we maybe get a trailer. That'd be awesome. But yeah, keep on a lookout. Um, Horizon again, part two. Yeah, I just don't know anything about that. Beetlejuice 2. Um, Beetlejuice is an awesome film. I literally just watched that Halloween. I don't know how they're going to do it again. I mean, Tim Burton is directing it again, and Michael Keaton is returning as Beetlejuice. Also having Jenna Ortega, William Dafoe. So we're getting some newer people. I'm sure Michael Keaton can still play the part. Obviously, when we saw The Flash, he returned as another older part, Batman, and he played him just as well as he did before. So I'm sure he could still play it. I don't know. I feel like they're going to end up not making it the same as the classic, and it's just going to feel different, but we'll see. And then speaking of DC films, this is the big DC film coming out this year. Joker Folie à Deux. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. It's basically the sequel. It is the sequel to Todd Phillips' film 2019. This is Todd Phillips directing again. Joaquin Phoenix return as the Joker. He actually won an Oscar for this. I forgot about that. But he basically played a much different Joker. He kind of is like Robert Pattinson for Batman. He just played a much darker version of the character, but it was just very emotional and very you just couldn't stop watching. It was just a very interesting film. I've only seen Joker one time, and I was very impressed with that film. I don't know. Maybe I'd watch it again just for the second one coming out. I kind of heard something that it might be like a musical. I hope it's not the whole time. I'm sure there's like a little catch between it. But we're going to have to wait a little bit again for trailer. October 4th. Harley Quinn is also supposed to be in it with Lady Gaga playing the part, which I thought was pretty interesting. Lex Neighbor is also supposed to be returning, the one that was in the apartment where he thought he had a relationship with, but really he was just imagining the whole thing. Apparently she might treat the Joker during this. We also saw some pictures with them in New York when they were filming that quite a while ago, so people have seen that. Gladiator 2. Believe it or not, I've never actually seen Gladiator, but from what I've heard, people don't know why they're even calling it Gladiator 2. It's the same guy that directed Gladiator 1. I don't even know why I'm saying it like that, because there's not really a film that they need to have for a sequel, because from what I've heard, the main character died. But I guess, who's it? Denzel Washington? I don't know if that's supposed to be his nephew. That's the guy that Maximus saved. I don't know. But he's supposed to be in the main character, so I don't know. Hopefully, again, they don't end up ruining something that was kind of classic. The same director that made it too. That's the weird thing. Foster the Lion King. Haven't really heard much about that. That's interesting. Like a prequel, I guess, but it's live action prequel. Okay, that's why, because we don't have release dates for these. Beverly Hills, I saw something about that. These, I guess, are some honorable mentions. I've never seen any Beverly Hills movies, but this is actually supposed to be a Netflix original. This is the fourth one of these. He's done quite a bit. But some films that they didn't mention, that I'm honestly interested in watching, is Rebel Moon Part 2. That's one of them. That's coming out in April. I know a lot of people didn't like Rebel Moon. I watched it the day it came out, and I honestly really enjoyed it. For people that haven't seen it, it's basically Zack Snyder, which is the guy that made Man of Steel, Batman v Superman. He was kind of in charge of the DCEU. He did the Justice League film. He made his own take on Star Wars, and he basically made it two different parts. I guess what he did was do two different cuts though for part one, which is kind of interesting because he did a PG-13, which is the one that came out on the 22nd, and then did one on a R-rated version that's, I guess, coming out there in the summer. But part two is going to be coming out in April, so we're already going to see that. I don't even know if part two is going to be two different cuts. For whatever reason, he always does stuff like that, and I think it kind of made Netflix a little annoyed. But they're releasing it as two different films. apparently the R-rated version could be a completely different film. I honestly thought the PG-13 film was fine. I don't know why people didn't really like it that much. I thought it was a pretty cool story. I honestly kind of stuck with it that entire time and wasn't even bored with it. I mean, it was. I'm pretty intrigued with the second part, but that's kind of my honorable mention that wasn't on here. And there's also some other comic book movies like Venom #3 that's coming out that I'm kind of interested about because I mean I enjoyed those films. The second one was all right, but yeah, I mean I like the first one. The third one should be I don't know. I don't know what that one would be about, but I'd probably end up watching that. But anyways, I think I've taken up enough of your time. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already. I cannot close out of this tab for whatever reason, so I guess I'll just end it off. Hope you guys enjoyed.